You might be wondering, what does shopping have to do with me changing my body? And that's exactly the reason why you should listen to what I have to say in this video. And I mean food shopping, by the way, not clothes shopping. But buying yourself some smaller clothes might be a good idea after you lose all the weight that you want by listening to my amazing advice. Because have you ever walked into a supermarket with the best intentions of buying healthy food and basically end up buying a trolley full of shit? Not literally, of course, but foods that have zero to do with your goals. Fear not, friend, because in this video I'm going to explain why your food shop is so important and why it is the foundation of your week in terms of is it going to be successful or not. I'm also going to explain what will happen if you continue to wing it and maybe answer why you choose these foods that aren't ideal for you, which I think might be pretty obvious. And then I'm going to wrap up this video with some tips on how to make food shopping easier. You lucky sausage. Anyway, straight off the bat, James, you're probably going to say, I don't like food shopping. An excuse already. We have a lazy person, don't we? I bet you're the type of person who doesn't cook your own food either. I'm joking. Kind of. What I would say to that is, if you don't shop or cook, you must have an absolute saint of a partner. One you can never let go of. But even though it's convenient that you do zero in the house, I personally think if you want to grab your health by the plums, it's something you're going to have to take up with your carer. I mean partner. And you say to her, listen, I want to get myself together, and the only way I'm going to do that is if I get my food in order. Meaning I'll do the shopping and I'll do the cooking from now on. Or at least let me help. A bit of communication in a relationship never hurt anyone. And neither did taking some responsibilities off them. And if she says, oh aye, what bitch are you getting in shape for? And you can say, well, you and the kids, because I can't give you and the kids the best version of myself if I don't feel the best I can, and doing this should help. And then you can see the look of guilt on her face and make her feel terrible. Make sense? What you would actually hopefully see is the relief and burden you likely lift off your partner just by doing and saying that. Talk about panties dropping. Anyway, so why is food shopping so important? I've discussed in the past that what you do in the kitchen should be the most influential part of the food that you put in your body, obviously. But even below that, what's probably more important is what you stock up your kitchen with, which is obviously where the shopping comes in. So it's not necessarily the kitchen or the shopping's fault here, but it's more about the plan that you have for both. So it's technically your fault. And people criticise supermarkets for selling non-ideal foods, but you can do this really cool thing, alright? You can just walk by them and ignore them. Mental, right? And yeah, you can waste time like the idiots on the streets and sign this petition to ban junk foods, whilst the government makes millions of them and completely ignores you. Because guess what? If you were selling something like that, you would do exactly the same. It's also ironic you never see any protesters in the winter, do you? Because what you can actually do is accept that they are in the shops and just start picking foods more responsibly and enjoy the other kinds of foods in moderation. The same thing you hopefully do with drugs and cigarettes and alcohol, because there is a time and place for them people in most cases. And I'm going to discuss in an upcoming point as well. Hopefully make walking by these kind of tempting foods a little bit easier. But the reality is, the success of your diet is only as good as the food that you buy for it. Because if you're buying shit at the shop and cooking it in your kitchen, that is all you're going to eat. And if you're getting served that at dinner by your saint of a partner, you are obliged to eat it, which does not give you an excuse to pin the blame on her, by the way. It's your health and life to sort out, not hers. When you shop and stock the kitchen up, it is a place where you want to make and have available fulfilling, satisfying, calorie-friendly, nutritious, filling, energy-providing food. Anything other than that shouldn't have a permanent place in your kitchen, in most cases anyway. And yes, you can definitely reach your goals by constantly and consistently eating out. I don't think eating out ticks all the boxes we mentioned earlier about energy-providing food. To get as nutritious foods that you cook in your kitchen, you would need to be buying from certain restaurants, which will likely cost you a pretty penny, because the chicken breast you cook in your house won't be the same as the chicken you get from Witherspoons, is it? But it is your money and your life. I'm just offering help. I'm also offering 31 free emails over 31 days for anyone looking to get in sustainable shape, so you can look class when you're naked for your partner and play with your kids pain-free. And all I'm needing from you is your email address. The details are below. I also think there has to come a time where you have to stop ordering food and eating out, so you can say you're actually able to cook meals in your own home. I mean, come on mate, you're 35-year-old. And you still can't cook. Your kid makes even better meals in her toy kitchen with her Play-Doh. Anyway, the kitchen is only as good as the food that you put in it, funnily enough. Meaning what you buy and fill it up with massively dictates how your week is going to go. I shamefully explained the other day that I demolished 8 tubes of Aldi Pringles over the Christmas holidays in 5 days, simply because they were just there. And I lost weight. That is an entirely different discussion. But the couple other reasons for that is you rarely buy something you don't intend on eating. Like chocolate bars that never last long in the cupboards, do they? And things like crisps are a trigger food for me. Once they're opened, they're getting finished. Like those 8 tins of Pringles. So I even put these kinds of foods in there in the first place. I'm not actually ashamed by the 8 tubs of Pringles. I would do it again. But these are good examples of things to have in your mind when you go shopping. But ultimately, in most cases, I just think you lack a plan of action when you go in there. A plan for the kitchen means a plan for the shopping. It is basically the foundation of your diet, because without thinking of these kinds of things, you're going to continue to buy easy, quick and convenient meals that really aren't helping you get what you want, and probably pushing you further away from the goal that you have in your mind. And sure, you're probably saying, I might just ignore you, James. What do you know? other than being a qualified nutritionist. You can bash on. There's no water off my back. I'll just continue to speak to people who actually want to make a sustainable, long-term change to their health using evidence-based methods and not remove any of their favourite foods. There's a literal trail of breadcrumbs, crisp crumbs and pizza crumbs that can be followed to the health issues you need to address, and that ultimately lands at what you buy and what you eat. But if you're still bitching about your weight but really doing nothing about it at the bottom level, such as the foods you buy, what are you really expecting to change? And now you might be thinking, Jesus James, shopping isn't that big an issue in my life. And maybe I would agree with you, but it does play a massive part. It's one of a whole host of things that you need to address long term if you want to get in shape. And finally be in a position you can play with your kids without getting out of breath. And it might sound a bit overwhelming, which is why I put the 31 emails together to help you out for free, which gives you a large overview of issues you'll need to address to create a sustainable lifestyle change. You also might be wondering why you keep buying these kind of foods that don't help you, which is a good question. And by the way, I would love nothing more to eat pizza every night and crisps for breakfast, but it would simply make me feel like shit if I did. And that's probably because I've been doing this for a while. And unfortunately, you've not realised the benefits of eating well because you've ate poorly for so long. So I don't think this is entirely your fault. There is a reason why companies spend billions of pounds advertising so you buy their non-ideal foods, and you do it again and again and again. There's also a reason why McDonald's have a Happy Meal and creches for kids, so you take your kids there and you get some peace for them whilst they have their little Happy Meal, and then you get a McDonald's because you're there, and also because it's cheap and convenient, because McDonald's are smart, you know. They're even grooming kids from a young age with their Happy Meals and their creches. But there's also a reason why supermarkets put deals at certain parts of their store, like chocolate bars, because they know there's a good chance you'll reach them and think, oh, I'm getting a deal here. Haha, Tesco, I've screwed you over. But there does come a point where you have to start taking responsibility, and hopefully you're by watching me. So I've put a few things together here to give yourself a little bit of guidance to buy better when you're in the supermarkets. First one is a shopping list. Now, you might be thinking, a bit of pen and paper is going to change my life, James, is it? Which is a fair point, but it's not actually what the pen and paper is. It's really more what it represents, which is a plan, which is something you didn't have before. Because remember, in most cases, a shit plan is even better than not having one. A tip that is absolutely abused online is making sure you don't go to the shops with an empty stomach, because the food you're likely trying to avoid in the first place become a little bit more tempting and a little more justifiable in your head when you buy it on an empty stomach. Then there's the usual advice when you're trying to buy healthy foods, like high quality protein. It's more expensive, but it's more satiating, so you'd hopefully curb the need of snacking and save money long term. Another one is low fat to save calories. There's obviously nothing wrong with fats. It's just a dense nutrient that's easy to lower, meaning overall lower calories. Obviously try and buy fruit and vegetables, high fibre and voluminous foods, help you bulk out your foods for low calories, again trying to help you keep full so you're then not eating those less than ideal foods. Another big one is buy and cook in bulk, cook multiple meals so they're there ready for you, rather than you then reaching for a chocolate bar instead. And also long term, you'll be saving money, which is a win-win. Another money saving tip is buying things on offer, which rotates every month or so, which then means variety using different fruits and vegetables every month and different sauces and meats and spices, etc. And then the last one is going to be at the end of your shop, if you follow any sort of diet, your trolley should look like your diet. So for example, if you follow a flexible diet approach, which I recommend, your shopping trolley should look 80% whole foods and 20% non-ideal foods. And if you follow a ketogenic diet, your shopping trolley should be full of fatty foods. And if you follow a carnivore diet, it should all predominantly be meat or animal based. But if you look in your trolley and it's full of microwave burgers, pizzas, ice cream, crisps, chocolate, how do you really think your week is shaping up? Is it any wonder why you cannot see your welly in the shower? This is extremely basic stuff, but fat loss isn't sexy or difficult on paper. It's just doing the majority of simple things over and over and over. People online just make it difficult so you follow them. But what we're trying to do here is ultimately increase the chances of you being in a deficit and then lose weight. And that might mean putting some of your favourite and decadent foods on the shelf for the time being, because success is really found in compromise. Everyone knows this. You're just poor at implementing them with all the distractions in your life, which is fine though, because I've created 31 emails that will be sent to you over the next 31 days. And you don't have to spend anything because they're free, and you don't have to do much. All I need is your email address. And if it's not for you, just unsubscribe. So now I've discussed in serious depth how a little bit of pen and paper could maybe be the difference between you having a good week or a bad week. You are welcome, but make no mistake about it, food shopping is hard. You're walking into a place that they want you to buy these foods with their fancy colour signs and branding. It's a place where they really don't care about your goals. They just want your money. And on top of that, you still hate cooking, don't you? You hate the cleaning up, you hate the time it takes, cooking stuff and the kid throwing it over their shoulder, even though she ate the same thing 3 days ago. And you might still be confused about what diet that you want to follow, because you've failed in the past. But what I've done is create this video, which is a simple guide on how to create your very own bespoke, successful diet. It's so easy, it's embarrassing if you fail. Anyway, that's us done. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.